candy cane? A candy cane.
Hi, I'm Brandon. I love prime Christmas movies.
Hi, I'm Jax, and I like prime Christmas movies.
I'm Alonso, and this Christmas I hope Amazon workers everywhere form unions.
I'm Dan, and everything Alonso said, and this is the
Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast. Brandon and friends host his podcast. We hope you like this jolly podcast.
For the amount of Amazon packages I get this time of year, I do feel like I should be in that union at this point.
Yeah. No,
It's just a lot.
they just park in between our
They just
houses.
park it. They just stay there. They just have a.
The Amazon Flex guy just stays right at that telephone pole in between our houses and just like chucks them. Half the time we're getting your stuff.
I don't know what happened.
We got your kid's big Christmas gift on our door. I was like, Caitlin must have done that on purpose, but it didn't happen.
Just accidental.
You know, true story. And I got my kids all excited. I was like, guys, this is not for you.
Wait, that's so cute and wholesome, you guys.
Right?
Like, it's like they're really friends. They really live by each other. It's just for show.
It is not.
That's why you should know your neighbors.
It's so funny. You've seen us in person a dozen times, Jax. Like that. You know, it's almost like you're doing this as a bit because we really do fight and we're mean to each other. And you're trying to propagate this lie.
Dan, stop.
Stop it.
Stop.
Stay on track, man.
Oh boy, how are we? How are we feeling? It's
man.
December. Can you believe that? December to remember.
Lexus,
Jax,
yeah.
do you got any big Christmas plans this year, Jax?
I am going to England for a few days, and then I'm going to Pennsylvania for one day.
Pennsylvania, the England of America.
Yeah.
It completely, absolutely. Of the East Coast, at the very
At the very least, yes.
There's an area of America called New England. You do know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. All right.
Yeah, but they took that from Pennsylvania.
They did. They truly did. But I'm not going to SantaCon like you guys. I wish I was having that experience.
What are you doing that weekend?
I'm at Christmas
that's
Con.
interesting.
We're not even going to talk about it.
That's happening? Okay.
My mom, when I told her, she and my sister are very upset because they love you guys.
We love them.
I say this all the time, but my sister is particularly fond of Alonso. She's always asking about Alonso. She loves all you guys, but
Whatever.
she like.
Cool.
My mom was like, they are celebrities. It's like having free celebrities there, and they're not going to have them at Christmas Con. You should be paying them to be there.
Yeah.
And I said, agreed.
Well, you know, even us big time celebrities down here in South
Sometimes
Carolina. have
even
to
big
take
time celebrities done goof, and we
That's
done
right.
goof.
Yeah.
We done goof, and here we are today.
Here we are.
But it's all gravy. It's all gravy over
SantaCon
here.
needed us, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is
They did.
They needed us.
Yeah.
To bring some civility to the proceedings.
That's exactly right. We're gonna keep everybody in line.
sobriety.
Keep everybody in
That's
line.
what we're here for. Yeah.
Alonso, do you have any big holiday plans?
Just tending to the post-operative Dave White and his brand new titanium
Who
hip.
raved about you, by the
Yeah,
way,
he did. Oh my goodness.
as a caretaker.
Talk about a paid sponsor, Alonso Duralde on the
I know who I'm
Deck the
calling.
Hallmark episode.
Promo code DECK.
That's right.
You'll come to people's
and
houses.
you'll take care of them. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, so, you know, spending it at home, folks will drop by, but like nothing super crazy.
Very
Love
nice.
it.
Very nice.
Yeah.
We're not going anywhere.
You know, eating my ticket to Newark, you know, that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. That
And
is.
Isn't that just the way it goes sometimes?
That's the way
Let's
it
talk
goes.
about Candy Cane Lane, shall we? Candy Cane Lane. Originally aired on December 1st, 2023, and it went a little something like this. Chris Carver, he loves Christmas. He decorates the outside of his house with handcrafted wooden figurines, which kind of love that. They're great, but they can't compete with the abundance of inflatables across the street at Bruce's house. Bruce. I don't know. Chris has a loving family, the sweetest little girl, another daughter who doesn't want to go to USC, much to Chris's chagrin, and a son who plays the tuba. My guy.
Yeah, McNasty.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And Carol, his loving wife. He goes into work in a great mood, singing the Christmas tunes. But then he gets fired. Oh, boy. He goes home. He puts on a Nat King Cole record, but not for long because he has to head on over to Bruce's house for the kickoff of Candy Cane Lane. It's the yearly
Candy Cane Lane.
It is the yearly televised event showcasing.
This is the first year they're televising.
Okay.
Yes.
It's the best of this area, though, the Candy Cane Lane area. And this year, there's a prize of $100,000. Wow. So obviously, Chris gets right to work on improving his house because he could really use $100,000 right about now. So he stumbles upon a shop under the overpass called Kringles.
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 And he walks in
Thanks, Jax,
and
for your participation.
Kringles.
he walks in and it looks like the North Pole. It looks amazing. A random woman named Pepper pops out of nowhere. He explains his situation, how he's looking to get something that'll really take the house down.
Yes.
And by that, I mean,
Not take the house.
not take the house down, but just really impress.
Build the house up.
That's
Yes.
exactly the house. And so she shows him this giant 12 days of Christmas, like a tree. It's a figurine, and it's amazing, and
Ornamented
it
element.
rotates. It has a whole thing. So he purchases it and signs.
Purchase it.
He purchases it, signs his name at the bottom.
He purchased it.
Despite the fine print, and some weird stuff like chirps and whatnot, but don't be alarmed. But the deal is done. He comes home. It's like in a giant tuna can, and straps it to the roof. Gets home, opens it up, and boop, pops right on out. It says to make a wish. While rubbing the golden partridge
In a pear tree,
in a
yes.
pear tree, and he's like, that's weird. So he wishes for like the best Christmas ever. So it's now the time for the big Christmas light parade where Santa comes down the Candy Cane Lane in a fire truck, pointing to houses. The lights turn on. Everybody's loving it. The whole thing's televised. They get to Chris's house. The lights don't work at first, but suddenly it turns on, and the 12 Days of Christmas tree. It is a hit. It is bright AF. It's just all wild and it's
We're not
spinning
even
like
halfway
crazy.
through the movie yet.
No, we're not. It's spinning around like crazy. So the next day, he wakes up and he looks outside and he sees that all the ornaments are missing. There's just like gaps where those figurines were. And so he's like, what is going on? And then he sees there's actual geese in his backyard. He decides to go back to Kringles.
Kringles.
Thank you.
Kringles.
And ends up talking to these glass figurines that explain that he needs to collect all of the gold rings before Christmas Eve. If not, it's not going to be good. He immediately finds one outside, but then gets a call from his wife. There are birds at her work, so he goes there, tracks them down, finds some birds, and also gets another ring. He goes to talk to the figurines again and finds out all these figurines are cursed. Pepper sold them all something, gave them a challenge. When the challenge wasn't complete, they become the figurines. So that's what's at stake here, everybody. They tell him that if he finds the other 3 rings, the curse will be broken. Yay, we love that. He decides to take the figurines and keep them safe. And also, they can kind of help along the way. The family gets brought in on this. They're helpful. They get a couple more gold rings, racing, dealing with a cow in a music room. You know the kinds. But here's the situation. Time is of the essence,
Yeah,
Dano.
yeah.
Time is running out. It's time, and it's they're going to be announcing the big winner, and there's still a ring short.
Right.
Santa ends up showing up out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Didn't
he
see
does.
that coming. He is not pleased with Pepper. But here's the thing. They end up finding the 5th ring, and that's when the twist is revealed. The figurines keep saying, she's going to do something. She always does something. And that something is this. It's not just the 5 golden rings. It's the 5 golden rings for every day. Quick math, 12 times 5.
No, 60, but they only 8
But
times.
80,
Yeah,
90,
it's 5
100.
times 8 is 40. They need
But
40
then,
rings.
But then 70.
No.
They need 40 rings, everybody. That's what they need. And they're quickly running out of time. They have the 5, they need the 35. And so Santa helps where he can, but he can only do so much. So he's like snapping and stuff and causing like chaos. But there's only so much that he can do because of the signed contract, obviously. So the family's running around. They're finding rings where they can. Ultimately, though, Chris runs out of time. He becomes a figurine. The clock strikes. They are 2 rings short, and they realize that their wedding rings make 40. And ain't that just the sweetest thing? So he comes back to life. But what about the other figurines? Well, it turns out that the youngest daughter made a Santa wish. Her Christmas wish was that the figurines would come back to life.
I mean, come on.
And while Santa can't do anything for just any reason, a Christmas wish, he grants those, so they come back to life. They're all so happy. Chris and his family celebrate Christmas together. They end up winning the contest, but the $100,000 is actually just $100,000 worth of tacos. And that, my friends, was Candy Cane Lane.
We did it.
We did do it. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to break this movie down with 4 segments here on Deck the Hallmark. Welcome back, everybody. We're talking about Candy Cane Lane. Eddie Murphy, I don't even know if we mentioned it yet.
Yeah, that's kind of a big deal. He doesn't do movies often.
He's the star of this flick.
Yeah, we're doing a Daniel Day-Lewis Christmas movie next week.
We'll get to it at minute 30. Let's talk about it. Candy Cane Lane. Jax, let's start with you. What did you think of Prime's entry into the Christmas?
Let me just say first that when you were doing the recap, which good job on that, by the way, very thorough. When you said he wished for the best Christmas ever, I had flashbacks to the last time we met, which is when we reviewed Best Christmas Ever, which was not Best Christmas Ever.
Yes.
But I feel like what this has in common with that movie is that this was a wild ride, totally unique. It was like, what is happening? I don't understand how this can be, but it was in a delightful way rather than being horrified. Of course, we have Eddie Murphy, who, yes, comedy legend. And you would think that it would just be enough to cast him in this role. But they have Tracy Ellis Ross, who is, oh my goodness. Honestly, she was my favorite part of the movie.
Wow.
And Danielle Pinnock, who was amazing too. Everyone was great in this. But you really could have just cast his wife as the straight person in this to have him playing off of her. But they had them going toe to toe. They were so funny. I thought Jillian Bell was hilarious as Pepper. We have David Alan Grier. I was the whole time Twitter pated from start to finish. I love this movie. It's my favorite of the season so far, even a little bit ahead of Santa Summit on Hallmark.
Wow.
My favorite of the season so far.
Have you seen Biltmore?
Have you seen Biltmore yet?
Yeah,
Wow.
and I repeat, my favorite of the season so far. No,
Okay.
I love. No, Biltmore was delightful. Joy Lenz is great. Palaha was doing his thing, the Jimmy Stewart voice. I love the Biltmore. It was gorgeous, but I liked this better.
All right, there you have it.
Alonso, what did you think?
I was really charmed by this. We've seen Hallmark movies where they try and incorporate the 12 Days of Christmas, and it's sort of clunky, and they get kind of caught up in the mechanics of it because they're doing it, without a ton of CG, which this movie has the option to do. And they really kind of play around with that. So the French hens are all wearing berets, just goofy sight gags like that. I agree. Eddie Murphy and Tracy Ellis Ross had really a fun dynamic, kind of couple dynamic and comedy dynamic. Yeah, I was thoroughly charmed by this. A strong cast. I thought it had fun ideas, and it sets up a thing where you're like, I wasn't sure if they were going to pull it off, and by the end of it, I felt like they pulled it off.
So I love this type of Eddie Murphy. Aaron and I were bonding over our mutual love of Daddy Daycare, where Eddie Murphy is surrounded by chaos.
I told them they didn't deserve to go to a movie theater anymore.
Fair, but my Regal Unlimited.
Yes, everybody agrees the family movie era of Eddie Murphy is really where he comes into his own.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's a nice
Just
boulder.
give me Norbit
That's
on
a
loop,
nice boulder.
Oh my god.
So obviously, this I loved seeing him in this. I love the idea of this movie, and I thought it looked amazing. There was a lot going. Like I now want this Christmas tree, 12 Days of Christmas spinny spotlight thing. I will say for me, the figurines of it all didn't really work. And the pepper of it all didn't work for me. I almost wish that the 12 Days of Christmas happened in a way that didn't involve that whole you're going to be cursed
on screen. Is
it's
what you're
just
saying.
too much. There's just too many.
Red?
What's that?
Did it involve Chris Red being hilarious and a Lothario?
And Nick Offerman.
Guys, I'm just saying how I felt.
Sorry, you're entitled to your opinion. I'm so sorry.
There was just
Don't apologize, Jax. Don't do it. Apologize.
Your feelings are bad, and so
I really like this movie. I'm just saying, it just felt like it went on a little longer than I needed it to.
This guy loved letters to Santa. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we can see that the objectivity is a little skewed.
I can do what I want.
This
I
is
can
the
say
bell
what I
curve we're
want
dealing
to.
with here.
I did really like this movie, and I would happily watch it again. Yeah.
Yeah, this is an embarrassment of riches on and off screen. Reginald Hudlin, who has produced and directed some absolute classics, like the original Friday, he was a producer on, or the Thurgood Marshall movie with Chadwick Boseman, which is great. He's directing here. Eddie Murphy.
Michael's taken over Lindy's.
Yeah, of course Michael's taking
an
over
amazing
Lindy's.
movie. He didn't end up taking over Lindy's.
He did? Good.
No, he didn't.
He didn't.
No.
But it's in the title.
It is in the title. They thought Michael needed to come in to save Lindy's, the bar, obviously.
Yes, of course.
They didn't need him.
They didn't need him. So
No.
he isn't, and he didn't.
He started to,
But he didn't.
Okay,
so misleading title.
a misleading title.
This is my favorite Eddie Murphy.
He was taking it over.
Yes, of course.
But ultimately, he didn't
He
need
didn't.
to.
Got it. I got it. Understood. My favorite version of Eddie Murphy is the dude who is trying to play the straight man, but the intensity of the ludicrous situation gets the best of him in spurts.
Like in Daddy Daycare.
And no. Daddy Daycare, he's just wide-eyed and you mean to tell me where to keep these kids all the time? Whereas in this movie, he's trying to be I lost my job, blah, blah, blah. And then it gets so crazy that he has these outbursts. He's such a good actor, and comedically, he's so gifted. But listen, around him, you mentioned some of them, Jax. David Alan Grier, Jillian Bell, Tracy Ellis Ross, Chris Redd, Ken Marino, comedy, legend Ken Marino, Timothy Simons from Veep. Everybody in there's it's an embarrassment of riches on screen, off the screen. It looks like a movie made for the theater. Mm-hmm. It is definitely a little bit overstuffed for one of these movies. I feel like.
Does anyone want to say anything to Dan?
No, wait a minute.
Anybody want to say anything about how dare you?
There were 4 or 5 plot lines here that all could have made a solid Christmas movie, and they went with all 4 or 5. And,
that's all I'm saying.
And that's because they had so many actors there doing their thing. And so, yeah, I would have pared it down a little bit, but from an entertainment perspective, qualitatively, the movie making quality is off the charts. From an entertainment perspective, my wife doesn't get anywhere near a Hallmark movie. She watched this with me last night, and at one point with the figurine, she was like, "This is kind of terrifying," and but wanted to know what was going to happen. So yeah, it's a fun time, and anytime you get Eddie Murphy doing his thing, I think it's a fun time, unless it's obviously Daddy Daycare.
It sounds like you need to take it back to the tape for Daddy Daycare. Put that on the list for next year.
Of course. Thank goodness.
I think it's only
we do
fair.
Eddie Murphy month. Cover Pluto Nash. It'll be a blast.
Let's
meet
Dave. That's right.
Let's talk about all the feels. We're talking about what in this movie gave us those feels. Jax.
My gosh, I loved these kids, and they didn't need a coach on set.
No.
These 3 kids I thought were absolutely, maybe they did have a coach, but so they were fantastic, I will say. I love the relationship between Tracy Ellis Ross and Eddie Murphy. I thought it was really grounded in that kind of love that you can just tell they're in each other's corner. It's not overly romantic or saccharine, but it's really grounded in people who've been together a long time and love each other, but also like each other. And then the other feel I had lots of feels. I really, really loved this, but I'm loving these newscasters. Daniel Pinnock, who's one half of #booked. I just want to.
I had never seen her
I love
before.
So for anyone who's an actor or who likes to laugh, there's this comedy duo called #booked on Instagram, and it's Danielle and her comedy partner, and they talk about all this like acting stuff. And then, sorry, what is the guy?
Timothy Simons.
Timothy
Simons. So I thought they were great. And at the end, when we have David Alan Grier as Black Santa, and we're all excited, and he's like, "I don't see color." Like that whole moment. I thought was
I only
so
see
smart
Santa.
and funny.
It
Yeah,
was the funniest
it was
moment
so
of the
smart and
movie.
Funny.
Yes.
It really was, and like not preachy, but also that thing of like misguided white people,
Yeah.
which I've been one and still am in many ways. I just thought it was really, really funny.
Alonso?
Yeah, the comedy is solid here. The joke where they go to Walmart and all the Christmas decorations are gone, but there's aisles of Valentine's Day stuff. The tree itself, like I love the tree in a can. It's like the giant version of the thing they do in Ms. Christmas Comes to Town. But I have to say, I got kind of thrilled because I didn't see it coming. You have this tree that has these round images all around it of like the 12 drummers drumming or the 9 ladies dancing, whoever. But when they spin around, it's like the original sort of zoopraxinoscope, like the thing that where motion pictures were created, where they would spin the thing in a circle and you would see the photos move, and so the geese fly and the maid's milk or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's so great! I didn't
really
see that coming. So that was
really
cool.
ingenious.
Yeah,
I'm really mad it doesn't exist yet. Like, give it to me.
Right?
Now.
Yeah, no, somebody needs to produce that thing. And also, as somebody who cannot stand pentatonics, I love that the running joke of this movie is everyone telling pentatonics to shut up and stop singing.
And when they become real
every
pentatonics,
time they launch it or something, it's like, nah, stop it. No.
When they become real pentatonics at the end of this movie and they get told to shut up and they're in on the joke, it made me respect them more somehow. Like I was like, good on them.
A little,
for,
they agreed
for showing
they
up.
agreed to do it. They know how annoying
that's
they are.
fantastic. Yeah.
There is a house as they're going around. First of all, the idea of having a street that's decorated for Christmas and they do a night where they all turn them on and Santa's pointing the lights and it's turned on. Amazing, magical. There's a Sugar Ray house. There's a house that uses Sugar Ray.
Sugar Ray.
And I've never thought
of Rig
I've never thought
I couldn't believe it.
to do it, but now that's my goal for next year. I've never been one of those people that are like, the moving lights to the songs, it's nice, but there's something beautiful about the static. But now we're talking about Sugar Ray.
Listen,
we're talking Sugar
we're
Ray.
talking Sugar Ray.
Sugar Ray's in the mix.
Listen, there is a row of trees in between Brandon and I's house, and our houses are separated by maybe 12 feet. And in those 12 feet, there's a row of little trees. It's going to cost like $2,000 to get them all out of the ground. They're causing all kinds of problems in our house. We need to get them down. We don't have that money. If somebody wants to pay the $2,000 to get the trees down, I will do a coordinated Sugar Ray Christmas house with Brandon. It just costs $2,000 to get the trees out of the way.
Well, then the lights after the fact.
That's a crowdsourcing thing.
Yep.
You guys
That's
can
right.
make that
Yeah.
happen.
Take our trees down.
Mark my words. In the third Haul Out the Holly movie next year, Lacey Chabert is going to have a whole Nickelback yard display.
Man, how great would it have been if Chad Kroeger showed up at the end of Haul Out the Holly 2? At the contest to be like, yeah, I'm on Jane's side.
Or they get to the proposal and he's just with a look at this photograph. Every time I do it makes me laugh. If that's not romantic, I don't know what is.
You don't know what is. I'll say this. We did a preview episode for these movies.
We did.
Jax was not there. It was the day of the marathon. I remember very little of it. I am 99% sure, I need to take it to the tape, that you did in the synopsis for this movie tell us that the 12 Days of Christmas come to life. And I probably said something to the effect of, sounds like a great idea. When I watched this movie, I had forgotten that. I didn't know what the movie was about at all. And when I saw the giant tree, it all like flooded back to me. And I was like, bro, Eddie Murphy, the 12 Days of Christmas are coming to life. And all of a sudden I was very invested in what was about to happen. And that moment when the tree popped up, that was my feels. That's what I got.
I love it. What a set piece, that giant can.
Oh, the budget for this movie is no joke. I mean, there's a lot of money being spent here.
Ron Howard produced this.
Exactly.
So I guess this is
Let's take a quick break. We'll come back with the Wait What and the prime for questioning.
Prime the pump. Prime TV. Prime time.
Back to homework. I mean, I thought prime for questioning was good. It's fine. Welcome back. We're
Prime inquiry.
Prime inquiries.
Yes.
I can't say that
Now,
word.
inquiries of
I know what it is. I just
question.
can't say it. There's too many vowels. Inquiries. I struggle with words with an abundance.
Just cut
of
it right
vowels.
there. I struggle with the words. That's all we needed. Thanks.
Inquiries.
Just print that.
Inquiries. Say
Inquiries.
it. Inquiries.
No, you know what? It is tricky because the
Stop
non-plural,
it, Jack. Stop
the
it.
singular is inquiry. So inquiries is difficult to say.
Oh my gosh. Jack.
Inquiries.
In the middle. I give you
Classic
that's
Jack's
a
trying to
lot.
make you
It's a
feel
mouthful.
better.
You ready?
That's all that is.
Inquiries.
You said inquiries.
Close enough.
Inquiries.
I'll take it. I'll accept it.
Yeah.
Inquiries.
Can we move on?
It's time for Wait What's, where we're talking about what in this movie made us go, wait, what? Jax?
My two biggest ones were the fact that, we have this family with these three kids that are like as close to perfect as you can get. And their parents are upset that the kid plays the tuba and isn't doing well in math, and that the daughter wants to go to Notre Dame instead of USC. I get that it's like a legacy thing, but still, I was like, come
I will.
on.
I did not have many in this movie, Jax, and one of mine is this father is upset that Notre Dame is recruiting his daughter, like the Notre Dame in South Bend, Indiana, like academic, like institution, very famous athletic institution. Not that she's going.
Rudy, most importantly.
Yeah, like
Rudy's rolling in his grave.
legitimately,
at this movie.
this dad is upset that this Notre Dame scout would just be interested in his daughter to run track and get a scholarship. I get it. You're a Southern Cal fan, but you can't.
No, my dad did not let my oldest sister leave town for college. She had to go to Emory in Atlanta, and like she was around a lot. Like they got more chill as they went through more kids.
And the kids,
But for
the kids he likes less. Like you go far
exactly.
away.
Yeah, me it's like you do whatever you want. I don't know.
So
Play in traffic.
But he just lost his job. If Notre Dame offers her a full ride, he's upset about that.
Sure. I think the legacy thing is part of it, but also you could come home for dinner every night.
Yes.
Like there are parents who are very
Of course.
clingy to their kids that way, and that's which makes the kids want to go to Carolina or Notre Dame or wherever as far away as they can get.
Whereas Brian Harold just can't wait for his kids to move far away from home. If you've not heard that episode yet,
I haven't heard it yet, but they're so cute and talented.
Brian's all the feels is that I can't wait for my kids to move a long way away so I can go see them and try all the restaurants and stuff. That's a real thing he said out loud.
Oh my God.
Seriously.
Oh, but that sounds so wholesome to him that he can see him and try all the restaurants.
Well, and it's good that they have it recorded so they can take it to
That's
the
right.
therapist with them.
Yes.
Yeah, because, I only have to see him once a year, so that's A, right? I'll just once. B, then they can pick out all the restaurants, and then I'll get to try them all.
Oh, Brian.
Kick it on up the road, buddy.
I have one more.
Sure.
Is that the maid of milking was like straight up felt pornographic to me.
It did feel not. This movie was PG, and the maid of milking was a maid of milking. It was the emphasis was on all of those things, and
There's no getting around it.
It was a choice. It was a choice to make that scene slightly sexy, and it was weird.
Yeah. Alonso?
Because that child is still in high school, among many other things.
Miss. I don't know what to tell you.
I wasn't sure if our maid was legal or not either, so I didn't know how to.
It was weird. It was a weird
They were
scene.
both teens, I want to say.
Listen,
but,
if there's a tuba, people can't contain themselves. I know. I played the tuba.
They don't call him McNasty for no reason. You know what I mean?
So yeah, one of mine was the whole thing with the dad and nobody made a career playing the tuba. I'm like, have you heard of a symphony orchestra?
Yes, exactly.
Because they all have a tuba player, at least on call. Maybe he's not there every day, but they've got to have one on retainer nonetheless. So the other thing for me, and again, I usually when a movie involves Santa and magical elves, what's kind of go out the window. Pentatonics does not know the tune of the Holly and the Ivy.
Yes, you're right.
When they do the snippets of the songs that match the kids' names, I don't know what they were singing for Holly and the Ivy. It was like, "We wish you a Merry Christmas" or something, but it's like, that's not, there's an actual song that you're referencing here and your tune is completely off.
Maybe they have a version and that's how they did it. Like, how they just do whatever they want to and make Christmas songs out of nothing. Maybe that's what they did with that.
Could be. That's all I got.
Obviously, yeah, it's tough to have the hallmarks.
Or even Wait What's.
Or Wait What's. Yeah, that's what I mean. There have been this isn't just this movie. There have been a couple of Hallmark movies too, where I am constantly anticipating a song to be played that has something to do with the title of the movie. And this movie, for the last month, I've been listening to see is Candy Cane Land. And I kept waiting. And I'm still waiting. This is, I think, the only movie.
YouTube is going to copyright us.
Get the tube out or something. Just disappointed. I think the only movie so far that's delivered is Where Are You Christmas, and that's the worst of the ones. So,
Haul Out the Holly does throw in.
That's true.
Angela Lansbury singing.
They didn't do it with Honey Road. They didn't do that. There was a couple. There was another one that I kept waiting for. So that's it. So obviously not many going on here, but that's my biggest complaint. I'm still waiting for Sia to show up.
Yeah. It turns out that the $100,000 is actually tacos or something. But when I heard the prize and I saw the houses, all I could think was, they're still losing money. Like, a lot of these people have spent more than that to win the money that doesn't even cover it. I mean, that's such a small prize. House decorating is crazy. You could spend that easily. And you have these decorations still, but I immediately was like, what's going on? It takes him entirely too long to put together that the ornaments have come to life. I mean, if you're attacked by 6 geese a-laying, I think if there are swans swimming in your backyard, you might be a redneck.
Do you let me ask you, Dan, as someone who doesn't believe in Christmas magic, if you bought this thing and you come out the next day and they're missing from there and you go in your backyard and the swans are there, are you immediately jumping to the conclusion?
I wouldn't. The swans, I would say no.
Okay.
The swans by itself or no. It takes him 4.
Yeah.
He doesn't, his wife calls him like, these geese are laying eggs on me. And he still is like, nah. Like, the 2 turtle doves are connected by a ring. And he's like, that's kind of weird. And then all of a sudden his daughter and him are like, do you think the ornaments may have come to life? Do you think so? I'm
immediately picking up on it with swans. I'm going back there and I'm being like, this all makes sense.
The normal
I've dreamt of this before.
Yes, that's right. The normal response is the one after swans. I think that is when you should figure it out. This is low-hanging fruit because this is as Hallmark as this movie gets, but Tracy Ellis Ross gets the "you got the job" phone call on Christmas morning. And you don't, nobody's calling, then please don't. Just, if I'm getting a job, just let me wait a day.
But then how do you love the way they sort of negate that when Ken Marino tries to hug her and she's like, I'm good. Right after that.
I love that.
It's like, all right, at least we're doing that.
And Kim,
actually, I do have a question here. What century is Pip supposed to be from?
A Dickens.
I mean, like, do we think, like, when it's like, okay, everybody go back to your normal lives? It's like, is everyone he knows dead?
Yeah.
Like,
that's I
really don't know.
I will say this, which that leads to my last one. Of all of the talent on screen, Ken Marino and Nick Offerman are wasted the most. I don't think it's particularly close in that regard because Nick Offerman, I don't know if it was a choice or what they asked, but I think in prep, he watched like one day of Christian Bale doing Alfred Borden on The Prestige and was like, I've got it. I'll take it from here. And I immediately could hear it and go, that's Nick Offerman doing a British accent. I don't know. That was weird to me. That was wait, what? Why did you hire Nick Offerman to do this? He's a very capable, talented actor. This was a weird situation here. I don't know what was going on.
There's no shortage of British dudes in Hollywood taking up all the acting jobs.
No. You've got plenty there, and I thought that was kind of weird and different. And that is all I have. I do want to say this. You said the kids were all great. I meant to shout out Thaddeus J. Mixon, the son, Eddie Murphy's son in this movie. He plays young Adonis Creed in Creed 3. The kid is just a phenomenal actor. Like he's special. Like he's really good, and I'm really looking forward to see what he does in the future.
When he says that he's good at math, and his mom is like, no. That's great.
He's like 40. He's like, I'm math. Is that what you guys call calculus? And they're like, that's addition or that's multiplication.
That whole scene was great.
Yeah.
It did strike a little bit too close to home, but I did love it. It's time for Prime Inquiries. It's where we talk about any questions
and queries. You get to do both.
It's where we talk about any questions that we still have. Jax, what are you querying about?
I think I do have a lot of curiosities and queries over, how they put together this $100,000 prize package. But my favorite one was that it was $5 for a Planet Fitness day pass when the entire month of Planet Fitness is $10.
That's right. Yep.
So I wish we would have seen Eddie Murphy going and utilizing that.
That would have been fun.
On the free pizza and bagel day, because nothing says staying fit like pizza and bagels. And I mean that. Carbs are good for you people. Don't be afraid. This is a fat phobic society and culture, and we do not want to perpetuate that.
It took a turn, and I loved it, Jax. Thank you so much.
Thanks for getting there eventually.
I love Planet Fitness. I'm just.
Oh, hey, your jacket's back. What's going on with that jacket?
What?
Jacklyn 15 is the code Queen of Sparkles. If you guys.
Jacklyn 15, Queen of Sparkles, and it's JACKLYN 15.
Exactly. I'm not being paid for this, truly. But if you do want a discount code, I did get this for free just to be on the up and up, but not getting paid. It doesn't help me if you sparkle, but
it helps the world.
It does help.
The world,
which in turn helps all of us.
That's exactly. Yes, that is how. Yes.
Alonso. More words of wisdom.
Alonso, any queries?
Well, since we're showing Sparkle, I wanted to let the Philo audience enjoy our vintage 6-foot aluminum tree with vintage ornaments.
Philo.tv/DTH.
No light on it, but we do have a color wheel that we can whip out. So, it's the whole package. My prime inquiry is.
Yeah, get it right.
I'll get there eventually. So when all seems lost for Eddie Murphy's character, and he gives those really moving speeches to his family about accepting what they want to do and how they want to blah, blah, blah. Now that he's back and okay, is he going to stick to that, or is he going to rescind? What do we think?
I thought I was going to be a figurine when I said that.
Yeah, so now that I said it.
Now that I'm back to being a present father.
Things have changed.
Yeah, that's funny. Speaking of, real quick, Christmas and Philo, Dan, we do a show called Philo Deep Dive.
We do.
And starting tomorrow, we have Christmas episodes coming out, which is a lot of fun.
That's true.
Full of fun Christmassy things you can find on Philo.
If you ever wanted to know how they celebrate Christmas down on the bayou, tune in for Swamp Christmas.
Oh, me, oh, my.
Give us give us the
Dude is eating oysters.
What do they say though? What's the style?
It's swamp style, and I can't. It's just swamp. Listen to the rest of
tomorrow.
It's offensive.
Philo.tv/DTH.
Yes.
Philo Deep Dive. Come on, hang out. It's a fun time.
Yeah.
So obviously Pepper has been at it for a while.
This is going to be mine. Go ahead. This is going to be great.
I think there's a lot of ways you can go about it. Mine is this like how did it all come together? So this seems like it was meant for.
She's like Lucifer. She was cast out of the North Pole.
But it seems like it was made this year. Chris was the chosen one. Like Chris was was he the only one that could find Kringles? Was he the only one that could have possibly fallen into this? Or does she just randomly pick under an overpass in a random part of the world every year and just kind of see how it shakes out? Because it seemed like it was very specific to him and kind of what he was looking for.
Yeah.
And
do other people show up thinking it's a spirit Halloween?
Well, that's my version of it is that are Pepper and Kringles tied together? Or is Kringles something people can find and not necessarily get pepper, right? So like, is it?
I mean, no
something-
one else is ever there,
Is she
but
running the store and just suckering people, or is she showing up occasionally to sucker a specifically chosen individual? That is,
or does it just?
The end of the movie might answer that, maybe.
yeah, I guess, yeah.
A
A
little.
little. We did, everybody. Congratulations. Next Monday, Dashing Through the Snow on the Disney Plus. Is that the name of the movie? Dashing Through the Snow?
Dashing
Dashing Through the Snow. Excited about that one. Luda and Lil Rel. So pretty good odds
tandem.
here. I'm excited about it. Yeah. And then, of course, we'll be back tomorrow with another full week of breaking down some Hallmark movies right here on Deck the Hallmark. Until then, may we the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark is a Bramble Jam podcast. It's produced by Aaron Shea. What? For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.